All right, so with today's video, I'm going to show you how to turn this into, come on, work, this. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Thanks so much for being here. Welcome to the next video in One Strange Adventure. And so today's video is going to be kind of part two to a video that I released before. And that video was, what would I change on our 2020 Grand Design Reflection 311 BHS? And so one of those things that I called out that we would actually change is the shape of the storage underneath. And so today is going to be that video. All right, so for this project, you're going to need some tools and some materials, and I want to show you what tools I will be using today. We have a compound miter saw. You can just use a regular rip saw. We have a cordless drill. You will need a Phillips head bit and some drill bits. You'll need something to be able to draw a straight line since we'll be cutting some stuff out, and you will need a measuring tape and, of course, a pencil. Material wise, you actually don't need a whole lot. You need some screws. I actually got some dual purpose screws. They're good for wood and for metal. You'll need some spray adhesive. You'll need something to make the backer board. I'm going to use a piece of like Luan, and you will need some 1x2s to build out the frame behind the water unit. All right, so the first step is going to be taking off the wall that's already in there. Now, spoiler alert, I've already taken it off and looked behind it. I know that I can do this project, and so that's why I'm recording it now. But it's actually only 6 screws. There's nothing holding it in the middle. It's 3 on each end. So I'll go ahead and get that done now. Now, some of you might have been wondering what the tape was on the floor. And I actually put the tape down before I started the project. That way, I could see how much extra storage space I would be getting once this project is complete. Well, it's a mess under here. But everything on the left side of that blue line is what we will be gaining. And so the shape will be completely different. It won't be this huge curve, for one. It'll be straight lines following that frame underneath. And then 2, I'm going to build the box that goes behind that water unit. All right, so while I have this panel off, I want to share a few things with you. One, taking this panel off actually gives us direct access to a couple of different things that you may need to diagnose if you ever have any issues. One being your hot water heater. So you're able to get right to the back side of that. 2, your furnace. So it's going to be in here. It's going to be tight because of the plumbing from the bathroom, but you can at least get to it. Number 3 is the water pump. Is actually just kind of randomly screwed down into the middle of the floor, right behind the wall. And then number 4 is going to be your converter. It actually has 2 35 fuses on it, and so if you're ever having any issues and things go out, then you might want to come look and see if these fuses are blown. I'm going to measure from this frame to this frame. So what I'm going to do is my frame that I'm building out of wood is going to come to here and then make the turn. Okay, I've done some measurements, and so the frame will need to go 15 inches back and 13¼ across to meet that little raised platform. And in order to go from floor to the framing underneath, we'll need to be 19¾ inch tall. guys, I hope you enjoyed that little time lapse of me struggling to make these two simple little boxes. I never said I was a craftsman or a carpenter, but I can get the job done. That's why this is such an adventure for me. All right, so after a few modifications, because my original measurements weren't, well, let's not talk about that. A few modifications later, and it works. Now, one thing, this board right here, I had to turn it sideways because if it was flat in here, it was hitting this fitting right here. And so I had to actually turn this so that it would slide up in here and be able to be on the inside and give me a nice brace for this to be able to screw into, because it was just, the wall was actually just holding this side straight. So it's in here, it's loose fit right now, but you get the idea of exactly what it's going to look like. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get some paneling, and we're going to measure it out and make walls for the side of this frame to wrap around the back side of the water unit. And then we're going to reuse the paneling that came from the wall that came from up there. We're going to reuse that to do the rest. All right, so I got the panels done. I've got the fabric glued to the panels, and just waiting for that stuff to dry. What I'm going to do now is actually start to modify this board to go up there and make that turn that we're going to be, or the new turn rather than that big large curve. All right, so I had to cut that out just a little bit more to make room for that pipe. Awkward camera angle. All right, so what I'm going to do now is actually bolt the frame, well, screw the frame up through the metal piece. And you can see I got one done already, so I had to get up in here to do this one to keep that frame in place. All right, that is done. That is sturdy. Now if I put something in here and it hits, it's not going to move. So, and then when I go to screw the carpet or the paneling back on, it'll go through that into this piece of wood. So, all right, next steps. Add some paneling to this bad boy. All right, guys, box is in. Check it out. Looks pretty good. All right, so next thing I need to do is measure that right there to figure out how long this little piece right here needs to be. I'll get that board in and we'll be done. Guess what? Guess what? We are done. Oh, it looks awesome. Look at this. And look how much extra storage we have now. Man, that really opened it up. Where it comes straight now, it intersects at about 29 inches. Right, and obviously I know it's angled a little bit, so it's not a full square 29 inches, but it does give you an idea of how much extra storage that is. So one thing I'll note here, I wasn't able to fully take the curve out. I definitely did reduce it a lot and got a lot of extra storage space now. So hopefully we'll be able to utilize this space a little bit better now. I wish they would just come from the factory like this. Now, I'll have to say, this was a little bit more of an undertaking than I thought it was going to be. Building the frame, working around the wires back there, carpeting. I am not good at upholstery, evidently. I found that out today. And just in general, it was a little bit more difficult. It took a little bit more time than I thought it was going to, but we got it done. It was a great project. Definitely an improvement to the camper. Anytime you can add more storage to a camper, it's worth it. And even with the little bit that we did gain today, I definitely feel like it was worth it. All right, well, that does it for this project. I definitely think this was a successful one. If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you really like the video, make sure you subscribe. And thank you so much for watching. And until the next strange adventure, keep making your own.